You were never taught how to be a man. You were taught how to perform, how to wear the mask, how to armor up, how to suppress, silence, and sacrifice the parts of you that didn't fit the script. From the moment you could walk, the world handed you a costume stitched together with phrases like, man up, don't cry, be strong, don't be weak. You were handed a sword, but never taught how to wield it. You were told to lead, but never shown how to listen. You were told to conquer, but never taught how to connect. You were told to provide, but never taught how to be present. You were told to protect, but never taught how to feel safe within yourself. You were never taught how to be a man, only how to perform like one. And so you became an actor in your own life, playing a role that never felt quite right, smiling when you wanted to scream, fighting when you wanted to flee, numbing when you wanted to feel. You became a master of disguise, a chameleon in a world that demanded conformity. But beneath the mask, the real you was suffocating. The boy who once dreamed of freedom, the man who longs for authenticity, the soul that craves connection. He's still there, waiting, hoping, yearning. It's time to take off the mask. It's time to unlearn the performance. It's time to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Because being a man isn't about dominance. It's about presence. It's not about stoicism. It's about emotional intelligence. It's not about control. It's about connection. It's not about power over others. It's about power within yourself. Being a man is about integrity, authenticity, vulnerability, courage, compassion. It's about standing tall in your truth, even when the world tries to knock you down. It's about feeling deeply, loving fiercely, and living fully. It's about embracing your humanity, not denying it. So take a deep breath, feel the weight of the mask you've been wearing, and let it go. Let it fall to the ground, shatter into pieces, because you don't need it anymore. You never did. You are enough, just as you are. You are worthy, just as you are. You are a man, not because of how well you perform, but because of how deeply you live. So, live. Live boldly. Live authentically. Live unapologetically. Live as the man you were always meant to be. The man who is free. The man who is whole. The man who is real. Because you were never taught how to be a man. But now, you remember. And that changes everything. Because now you remember not from books, not from movies, not from fathers who only knew how to pass down pain masked as pride, but from your bones. From the soul memory that was buried under decades of performance. From the voice inside that never went silent, only ignored. From the truth that never stopped whispering, even when the noise of the world grew deafening. You were never meant to walk through life armored and numb. You were meant to walk awake, to feel your footsteps, to feel your breath, to feel your rage, not suppress it, to feel your grief, not drown it in distractions, to feel your joy without shame. But they didn't teach you that. They taught you to measure your worth by what you own, not by what you own up to. They taught you that success is external, even if it bankrupts your internal world. They taught you that the measure of a man is how many women he conquers, how many battles he wins, not how many times he chooses peace when war is easier. They taught you to be admired, not known, to be respected, not loved, to be feared, not felt. And you did it. You tried. You wore the mask so well that even you began to forget your own face. You checked every box. You achieved. You succeeded. You provided. And yet, something was missing. Something essential. Something sacred. Yourself. Because what no one tells you is this: there is no glory in being a stranger to your own soul. There is no honor in performing strength while secretly crumbling. There is no peace in being everyone's hero and no one's truth. And there is no freedom in being a man that the world claps for, but your heart can't recognize. But this moment is not the end. It is the beginning of a return to something ancient, something primal, something true, a return to the man you were before they told you to bury your tears, before they taught you love was weakness, before they shamed your softness and called it failure. This is the reclamation, not of bravado, not of dominance, but of your own humanity. To stand in front of a mirror, stripped of every performance, and still say, I am a man, I am whole, and I am done pretending. This is your rite of passage, not into manhood by their definition, but into manhood by your own, one forged in fire and softened by truth, one that doesn't flinch at pain because you've faced your own, one that doesn't run from love because you've learned to love yourself, one that doesn't need applause because you finally remembered how to listen to the man beneath the mask, to the man who never needed to perform in the first place. And that man, he's not broken. He's not too late. He's not lost. He's ready. Ready to burn the script he was handed at birth. Ready to shatter the image of masculinity built on conquest, suppression, and silence. Ready to write a new story, not just for himself, but for every boy who still wonders if his feelings make him less of a man. Ready to become a living permission slip that says, you are allowed to feel, you are allowed to cry, you are allowed to be whole. He no longer needs to armor up just to get through the day. He doesn't have to pretend his soul is bulletproof. He's done acting like he has it all together when inside he's carrying generations of unshed tears and unheard screams. This is the man who isn't afraid of his reflection anymore, because he's no longer seeing someone who performs. He's seeing someone who shows up for himself, for his people, for the truth. He doesn't need to dominate a room to feel seen. His presence is undeniable, not because he demands it, but because he radiates authenticity. Because real power is quiet. Real power listens. Real power doesn't need to conquer, it creates space. And now, when he looks in the mirror, he no longer sees a mask. He sees a man who has battled his shadows and lived to tell the truth. A man who has learned that strength isn't how long you can hold it together, it's how deeply you can let go. Let go of the facade. Let go of the performance. Let go of the shame. Let go of the noise. And return again and again to the self, to the body, to the breath, to the boy he abandoned to become acceptable, to the fire in his chest that still burns not with rage, but with remembrance. He remembers now. That love is not weakness. That gentleness is not a flaw. That vulnerability is not a risk, it's a revolution. And he will be the man to lead it. Not with ego, with empathy, not with masks, with meaning, not with bravado, with balance. He's not here to perform anymore. He's here to be, fully, fiercely, finally, because now he knows what it means to be a man. And it has nothing to do with how well you play the part. It has everything to do with how boldly you live the truth. Truth is, most men are silently drowning in a world that only taught them how to build walls, not how to build homes inside themselves. They know how to defend, but not how to feel. They know how to hustle, but not how to heal. They've mastered endurance, but forgotten how to rest. And rest is not weakness. Rest is resurrection. Rest is where the wounded boy lays down his sword and finally exhales. Where the tired man realizes he doesn't have to be a warrior every day just to be worthy. You see, we were never meant to perform masculinity like a theater act. We were meant to embody it, to live it from the inside out, not as something we chase, but as something we remember. Not as an identity we force, but a truth we uncover. Because a real man isn't built in battle. He's forged in reflection, in the stillness where he faces himself without flinching, in the darkness where he admits, I was taught to be hard, but I was never taught how to hold myself when I broke. But here, now, the illusion dies. The chains loosen, the act ends. This is the great unlearning. Unlearning that your value lies in what you produce. Unlearning that strength means silence. Unlearning that softness disqualifies you from being powerful. Unlearning the myth that the only way to be respected is to be feared. And in that sacred space of unlearning, something more real rises. A man not defined by how much he can carry alone, but by how deeply he can connect, by how fully he can show up with presence, by how honestly he can love, by how gently he can lead without domination, without performance, without apology. This is not the end of manhood. It's the rebirth of a new kind of man, one who doesn't wear his worth like armor, one who doesn't hide behind control, one who has nothing left to prove because he's already enough. And from here, his life changes, not because he becomes someone else, but because he returns to who he was before the world told him he wasn't allowed to exist that way. No more masks, no more performances, no more pretending, just him, breathing, standing, living, free, free from the script, free from the inheritance of emotional exile, free from the weight of generations who were told, don't feel, just function. He is not here to repeat their silence. He is here to redeem their story, because the world doesn't need more men who perform. It needs more men who transform, who dig into the layers they were told to hide, who break the cycle not with violence but with vulnerability, who create safety in their présence en nous through fear but through grounded strength, a strength that doesn't flex at anchors, a strength that doesn't dominate it uplifts, a strength that doesn't require applause, it stands in silence and truth. And this man, this new man, rising from the ashes of performance, is dangerous. Not because he is ruthless, because he is whole. And wholeness is threatening to a world that profits off brokenness. Wholeness is ungovernable. It cannot be manipulated, bought, or swayed. He no longer needs to be validated by a system that never knew his name. He no longer waits for the world to approve of his softness. He no longer asks for permission to feel. He feels anyway. And in that choice, he reclaims not only himself, but the entire lineage that came before him. Because when one man stops performing, he gives 1,000 other men permission to stop too. He opens the door to sons who will grow up with fathers who see them, to partners who will no longer be confused by presence laced with detachment, to communities that finally understand a man in his truth doesn't take up space to silence others. He holds space for others to rise. That is what masculinity was always meant to be. Not suppression, not aggression, not performance, presence. It is a fire that warms, not burns. It is a river that flows, not floods. It is a mountain that stands not to tower, but to guide. And now he stands, not as an image, not as a rope, not as an act, but as a man who no longer needs to pretend, as a man who is finally, unapologetically, himself. And when he finally becomes himself, the world around him must recalibrate, because a man who no longer performs cannot be controlled. He does not respond to manipulation, to shame, to guilt, disguised as tradition. He has seen through the veil. He knows now that his masculinity is not fragile, it is sacred. And sacred things are not flaunted, they are protected. He does not raise his voice to prove his dominance. He lowers his walls to show his depth. He does not chase power. He cultivates presence. He does not command respect. He lives in a way that makes it impossible not to give it. This is the quiet revolution, the rewriting of manhood, not with noise, but with knowing. Not with conquest, but with consciousness. Not with ego, but with essence. And as he walks now, the world begins to recognize something different. He's not seeking anything. He's not missing anything. He's not at war with himself, because he has made peace with the boy within. The one who was once punished for crying. The one who was once told, toughen up. The one who was once laughed at for dreaming. That boy has grown not into a machine, but into a man who remembers. And in remembering, he redefines everything. He becomes the man who listens when it's easier to interrupt, who chooses truth over performance, who knows that being strong doesn't mean being silent, it means being real, especially when it's hardest. The man who no longer performs like one because he finally became one, not for the world, not for the applause, not even for the legacy, but for himself, because for the first time, his soul feels safe in its own skin, because for the first time, his reflection isn't a mask, it's a mirror. And what he sees now is not just a man. It's the truth of masculinity, untamed, unedited, unapologetic. He's not afraid anymore, because he knows he was never weak for feeling. He was never soft for caring. He was never wrong for needing. He just wasn't taught. But now he has remembered. And in that remembrance, he has risen. He has returned. He is free. He is finally a man. He is finally a man, not by the measure of titles or trophies, not by the scars he hides, but by the light he no longer dims. Because now he carries himself with a presence that cannot be faked. The kind of presence that makes silence sacred, that makes others soften, that makes people feel safe without needing to be small. He is no longer chasing admiration from the outside, because he has finally built reverence on the inside. He respects himself too much to perform. He honors himself too deeply to lie. This man, he holds space for his anger, but never lets it speak for him. He holds space for his grief, but never lets it rot him. He holds space for his desire, but never lets it consume him. He holds space for love, and now, finally, he knows how to receive it. He no longer confuses control with stability. He no longer mistakes dominance for leadership. He no longer looks to the world to define who he is, because now he embodies who he is. And when a man lives in alignment with who he truly is, he becomes unbreakable. Not because he's made of stone, but because he's made of truth, a truth forged in fire, a truth born through breakdowns, heartbreak, disillusionment, a truth that was always there, beneath the performances, waiting to be remembered, and now others will call him wise. Others will wonder how he became so grounded, so balanced, so peaceful. But he will smile, because he knows this wasn't luck. It was the price of waking up. It was the cost of letting go of who he was told to be, so he could become who he actually is. In that man, he doesn't just live, he leads by example, by energy, by essence. He's not loud. He's luminous. He's not perfect. He's present. He's not who the world made him. He is who he was always meant to be. And now, nothing can stop him, because he is no longer performing. He is becoming every day every breath, every moment. He's not acting like a man anymore. He is one. And in that becoming, there is no final destination, only deeper layers of truth to uncover, only new shadows to integrate, new wounds to heal, new wisdom to earn through the fire of living honestly. Because being a man, a real man, isn't about arrival. It's about awakening. It's about holding your past without shame, facing your pain without fear, loving without conditions, and showing up every day, not because you have something to prove, but because you have something to give. He now walks this world not as a performer, not as a pawn in someone else's script, but as a man who rewrote the narrative, line by line, scar by scar, decision by decision. He no longer hides from himself in the crowd. He doesn't lose himself in women who confuse chaos with chemistry. He doesn't betray his values just to belong. He stands alone, if necessary, because now he belongs to himself. And when the storms come, because they will, he does not run. He does not numb. He listens. He feels. He remembers that this is what he was made for. Not to dominate nature, but to live in harmony with his own. Not to conquer love, but to honor it. Not to silence others, but to stand beside them in truth. This is the man who no longer performs. This is the man who walks with fire in his chest and peace in his eyes, who speaks with clarity instead of noise, who touches the world, not with force, but with presence. He's no longer ashamed of his tears. He's proud of them, because they were the first waters to cleanse the mask, to baptize the boy, and return him home. And now he is home, in his body, in his story, in his manhood. Not the manhood shaped by centuries of silence, but the manhood forged by consciousness, by courage, by compassion. He doesn't need to be feared to feel strong. He doesn't need to be perfect to feel worthy. He doesn't need to perform to feel alive, because now he is fully, finally, forever. He was never taught how to be a man, but he remembered, and that is what made him unstoppable. You were not raised in a perfect family. No one was. The idea of a flawless, unblemished family is a myth woven from desire and denial, a mirage that obscures the deeper, messier truth of human connection. Families are made of flawed people, each carrying wounds, fears, secrets, and scars passed down like fragile heirlooms, treasured and yet burdensome. These wounds ripple through generations, shaping the contours of our identities, our fears, our beliefs, and our patterns of behavior. But here is a truth that must be spoken loud and clear. You are not doomed to carry these wounds forever. You are not destined to repeat the cycles of pain and dysfunction simply because they are the soil in which you were planted. You possess within you the power to heal, to break the chains, to mend the fractures, to create a new lineage of strength and grace. Carl Jung taught us that the family is the crucible of the psyche, where the conscious and unconscious collide, where archetypes are born and shadow cells are shaped. The generational wounds you bear are the shadows cast by those who came before, wounds, often hidden, denied, or misunderstood, yet profound in their impact. To heal them, you must first bring them into the light of awareness, confronting not only your own pain, but the legacy of pain carried silently through your family line. Healing is a journey inward and upward, a path of radical self-honesty and fierce compassion. It demands that you face the uncomfortable truths, not to blame, not to condemn, but to understand. It asks you to see your family not just as flawed, but as human, bound by the same vulnerabilities and desires that bind you. It invites you to recognize that the wounds you inherited are not your fault, yet they are your responsibility if you choose to transform them. Imagine the courage it takes to stand at the edge of this truth to peer into the depths of generational pain and to declare, I will not let this define me. I will heal what was broken. This is the heroic act of your life, the decision to become a healer, a breaker of cycles, a creator of new legacies. Your mindset is the foundation of this healing. It is the lens through which you view yourself, your family, and your future. Cultivate a mindset that refuses victimhood and embraces agency. Believe that healing is possible now as a distant dream, but as a tangible reality within your grasp. Clarity will come as you peel back layers of denial and confusion, revealing the raw, unvarnished truth beneath. Vision becomes your guiding star, a vision not of perfection, but of wholeness, of integration, of transformation. Purpose fuels this vision, compelling you forward when the road is steep and the burden heavy. Discipline grounds your journey. The daily commitment to facing shadows, making different choices, and nurturing your own growth. Action is the heartbeat of healing. It is the willingness to seek help, to set boundaries, to practice forgiveness, not just toward others, but toward yourself. It is the choice to rewrite the narratives you tell about your family, your worth, and your future. Each step taken in awareness and intention chips away at the old wounds and lays down new patterns of resilience and love. Gratitude, paradoxically, becomes a potent ally. Gratitude for the lessons hidden within the pain, for the strength born of struggle, for the chance to break free and build anew. It shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from despair to hope. Adaptability allows you to navigate the unpredictable terrain of healing, to bend with the winds of change without breaking, to evolve with grace. Resilience becomes your armor, forged in the fires of hardship and tempered by love. Learning about yourself, about psychology, about family dynamics is the key that unlocks understanding. Knowledge illuminates the shadows, offering tools to heal rather than repeat. You were not raised in a perfect family, but you can become the architect of a new legacy. A legacy not defined by wounds, but by healing, not by silence, but by truth, not by pain, but by love. This is your call to courage, your invitation to transformation, your moment to step into the power of healing the generational wounds, not for their sake alone, but for your own and for the generations yet to come. Begin now. Embrace the journey. Rewrite your story. Because healing is not just possible, it is your destiny. Healing begins the moment you choose to face the darkness within your family's story without flinching, without running. It begins when you dare to sit with the uncomfortable emotions, the inherited fears, the unspoken resentments that have woven themselves into your very being. This is the crucible where transformation is forged, the alchemy of turning pain into power, wounds into wisdom. The journey inward is not a path of blame, but of deep understanding. It requires you to separate your identity from the narratives passed down, to see yourself as distinct yet connected, a bridge between what was and what can be. You must learn to witness the patterns without judgment, to hold compassion for those who came before, even as you refuse to be limited by their choices. In this process, your mindset is your most vital tool. It is the lens that shapes your reality. Choose to cultivate a mindset of possibility and healing, rejecting the victim mentality that traps so many in cycles of suffering. Believe fiercely that you are more than your family history. You are not your trauma. You are the transcendence of it. Clarity will arise as you peel away the layers of illusion and denial. You will begin to see the root causes of inherited pain and the ways in which old wounds manifest in your thoughts, behaviors, and relationships. This clarity is both painful and liberating. It gives you the power to interrupt destructive cycles and create new, healthier patterns. Vision becomes your compass, a clear image of the healed self and the legacy you want to leave. Purpose is the fuel that drives you forward, even when the road is rocky and the old shadows beckon. Discipline is the daily practice of choosing healing over hurt, growth over stagnation, truth over denial. Action is where your transformation takes form. It may be seeking therapy, setting boundaries, engaging in honest conversations, or simply practicing self-care with unwavering commitment. Every step forward, no matter how small, chips away at the generational wounds and builds the foundation for your new life. Gratitude deepens your healing. It allows you to acknowledge the strength gained through struggle and the lessons hidden within pain. Gratitude shifts your energy from resistance to acceptance, creating space for peace and renewal. Adaptability ensures you remain flexible, as healing is rarely linear. There will be setbacks and challenges, but your resilience will carry you through. Resilience is the capacity to recover and grow stronger with every trial. Learning fuels your growth. Study the psychology of family dynamics, embrace the teachings of Carl Jung, and explore the depths of your own unconscious mind. Knowledge empowers you to heal not just for yourself, but as a beacon for those who follow. You were not raised in a perfect family, but within you lies a power to heal, to transform, and to transcend. By choosing to face the generational wounds, you break free from chains that have bound your lineage for too long. This is your legacy in the Makinga legacy of courage, love, and renewal. Begin now. Embrace your power. Heal the wounds. Create a future defined not by pain, but by profound strength and possibility. You are the healer. You are the change. You are the future. You will discover along this path that healing is not a solitary act, but a ripple that touches all around you. As you mend the fractures within your own soul, you send waves of restoration through the unseen threads that bind your family. Your courage becomes a silent invitation for others to face their own shadows, to release their own burdens, and to step into their own power. This transformation transcends time and space. It reshapes not only your life, but the lives of those who came before and those yet to come. The wounds you heal today lighten the load carried by future generations, rewriting the story that once seemed inevitable. You become the fulcrum point where old pain ends and new possibility begins. But know this, healing demands patience and persistence. It is not a moment, but a lifelong practice, a daily commitment to self-awareness, to choosing growth over comfort, to embracing discomfort as the gateway to transformation. There will be moments when the old fears rise like storms, when the past calls out to pull you back into familiar patterns. Stand firm in those moments. Remember the power you hold, the power to choose your response, to create a different reality. Your mind is the battleground where this war for your freedom is fought. Guard it fiercely. Fill it with truth, with love, with hope. Starve it of doubt, of resentment, of defeat. The beliefs you nurture will become the reality you live. Purpose will be your compass, guiding you through the fog. Discipline will be your sword, cutting through resistance and distraction. Action will be your footsteps, marking the path from pain to healing, from brokenness to wholeness. Gratitude will be the light that sustains you when shadows grow long, reminding you of the beauty that arises from struggle. Adaptability will be your grace, allowing you to bend without breaking, to flow with life's unpredictable currents while holding steady to your vision. And resilience, the resilience you build through this journey, will be the legacy you pass on, not just in stories or lessons, but in the very fabric of your being. A resilience so profound that no shadow of the past can dim the light of your future. You were not raised in a perfect family, but you have within you the power to heal those wounds, to transform that legacy, and to become the architect of a new, radiant future. This is your call to courage, your invitation to transformation. Embrace it, own it, live it. Because healing the generational wounds is not just a gift to yourself, it is the most profound gift you can offer to the world. Step into your power. Begin your healing. Create your future. The journey is yours. The time is now. The journey of healing is the most courageous journey you will ever undertake. It requires facing your own darkness with unwavering light, embracing vulnerability as strength, and walking through pain with grace. This path will test you, challenge you, and transform you, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Every scar you carry is a testament to your survival. Every tear a river that cleanses your soul. Do not rush the process or judge your progress harshly. Healing unfolds in its own time, with its own rhythm. Trust that every step, even those taken backward, is part of the dance toward wholeness. You will learn to hold space for yourself, to listen to the whispers of your heart, to honor the needs of your spirit, and to nurture the parts of you still fragile from inherited wounds. In doing so, you create a sanctuary within a wellspring of strength from which all growth flows. Your healing will inspire others to begin their own. By choosing to face your family's imperfections and to break free from cycles of pain, you become a beacon of hope. Your story will light the way for those still lost in the shadows, proving that transformation is possible, that freedom is attainable. Remember, the past shapes you but does not have to define you. You are more than your history. You are the artist of your own life, painting with colors of resilience, compassion, and love. So stand tall, step forward. With every breath, every choice, every act of self-love, you heal not only yourself, but the generations yet to come. You were not raised in a perfect family, but you hold the power to heal the wounds and to build a legacy of strength, healing, and hope. This is your destiny. Begin now. As you continue on this path, understand that healing is both an ending and a beginning. It is the closing of old chapters filled with pain and misunderstanding, and the opening of new pages that you write with intention and love. Each moment of courage, each act of forgiveness, whether toward yourself or other, sets a new line in the story of your life, a story that is no longer dictated by wounds, but defined by wisdom and strength. You will come to realize that the wounds of your family are not just scars, but keys to unlocking your own potential for growth, compassion, and transformation. Through them, you learn empathy, not only for those who hurt or failed you, but for the imperfect human condition itself. This empathy becomes the foundation of your healing and the bridge to authentic connection. Remember, true healing requires embracing both the light and the shadow within yourself and your family. It is not about erasing the darkness, but integrating it, acknowledging the pain, the mistakes, and the fears, while refusing to be imprisoned by them. This integration frees you to live fully, to love deeply, and to create boldly. Your journey is not isolated, it reverberates through time and space, impacting those who came before and those who will come after. By choosing to heal, you are weaving a new legacy, one built not on silence or denial, but on truth, courage, and love. This legacy is a gift to yourself and a beacon for all who follow. So as you move forward, hold this knowledge close. You are not your family's past. You are the master of your response, the creator of your future, and the healer of generational wounds. Stand firm in this truth. Walk boldly in your power, and know that every step you take toward healing is a step toward freedom for you and for the generations yet to come. The time to heal is now. The power to change is yours. Embrace it, live it, transform. Your future awaits. Every moment you choose healing over hurt, growth over stagnation, you redefine the meaning of family. You break free from invisible chains and step into a legacy of strength and renewal. This journey is not just personal, it's ancestral, sacred, and transformative. The path is not without struggle. Shadows will surface, old wounds may bleed anew, and the temptation to revert to familiar pain will call. But with each conscious response, with each act of self-love and forgiveness, you build a fortress of resilience that no darkness can penetrate. You will learn to honor the complexity of your family, the beauty and the brokenness, the love and the pain. In doing so, you cultivate compassion not only for them, but for yourself. This compassion becomes the soil from which true healing grows. Your story becomes a beacon, testament to the power of conscious choice and courageous transformation. It is proof that the past does not dictate the future, and that every soul holds the power to rewrite their destiny. So rise, embrace your role as healer and creator. Carry the lessons of your lineage not as burdens, but as wisdom. Build a future defined by love, authenticity, and freedom. You were not raised in a perfect family, but you are perfectly capable of healing its wounds. Begin now. The journey is yours. The healing is yours. The legacy is yours to create. As you walk this path of healing, remember that the greatest gift you can offer yourself and your family is presence. To show up fully without masks or pretenses, to face the past with courage, and to choose love over resentment. Presence is the bridge between wounds and wholeness, the light that guides you through the shadows of inherited pain. In embracing this journey, you awaken a deeper part of yourself, one that knows true strength is born from vulnerability, that courage is forged in the fires of forgiveness, and that freedom is found in the release of old burdens. This awakening transforms not only your life, but the very fabric of your family's legacy. You become the change agent, the catalyst for healing that transcends time. Your commitment to growth and compassion reshapes the narrative, creating ripples of transformation that extend far beyond your own experience. No matter how imperfect the family you came from, you possess the power to create a future filled with love, understanding, and resilience. This is your truth, your path, your gift to the world. So step forward with open heart and unwavering resolve. The journey may be challenging, but it is sacred. It is the path to freedom, to peace, and to profound healing. You were not raised in a perfect family, but you hold the power to heal, to transform, and to transcend. Your future begins now. Embrace it. Live it. Shine. This journey you embark upon is the greatest act of courage, choosing to heal when the pain is still fresh, choosing to love when hurt runs deep, choosing to rise when the weight of the past threatens to hold you down. It is a sacred revolution of the soul, a reclaiming of power that has long been scattered across generations. You will find that healing is not a destination, but a continuous unfolding dance between shadow and light, loss and gain, breaking and rebuilding. Each day offers a new opportunity to choose differently, to respond with awareness, and to create a legacy not of wounds, but of wisdom. As you heal, you will cultivate an inner sanctuary, a place within where peace reigns despite the storms outside. This sanctuary becomes your refuge, your strength, your source of clarity and resilience. From here, you engage with the world, not from a place of fear or reaction, but from a place of choice and empowerment. Your transformation will inspire those around you, not through grand declarations, but through the quiet power of your presence, your grace, and your unwavering commitment to growth. You become a living testament to the truth that while we cannot choose the family into which we are born, we can choose the family we create within ourselves and with others. You were not raised in a perfect family, but you are perfect in your imperfection. Your willingness to face pain, to embrace healing, and to create change makes you whole beyond measure. This is your story, your journey, your legacy. Begin now, heal fully, live fiercely, and shine unconditionally. In this unfolding journey, you will learn that healing is not a solitary path, but a collective awakening, a calling that invites others to step into their own light, to break free from the chains of inherited pain, and to rise alongside you. Your courage becomes a beacon, guiding those still lost in the shadows toward hope and renewal. Each day, you choose healing over hurt, presence over avoidance, love over fear. You plant seeds of transformation that will grow beyond your lifetime. You rewrite not only your story, but the story of your lineage, creating a legacy of strength, compassion, and resilience that echoes through generations. Embrace the paradox that healing requires both fierce determination and gentle compassion. Be relentless in your pursuit of growth, yet tender with the parts of yourself still fragile. Allow space for imperfection, knowing that true wholeness comes not from perfection, but from authenticity. Remember that the wounds you carry are not signs of weakness, but marks of survival and potential. They are the raw materials from which your greatest strength is forged. In embracing your scars, you find beauty. In facing your shadows, you discover light. You were not raised in a perfect family, but you are the author of a new narrative. One where pain is transformed into power, suffering into wisdom, and brokenness into wholeness. Step boldly into this truth. Claim your power. Heal the generational wounds. And build a future defined by love, freedom, and endless possibility. Your journey starts now. And it will never truly end, for it is the sacred work of a lifetime and the gift you give to the world. You were not raised in a perfect family, but you carry within you the power to heal, to break cycles, and to create a new legacy. The wounds of the past do not define you. Your courage to face them and transform them does. Every choice you make to respond with love instead of anger, with understanding instead of judgment, is a step toward freedom, not just for yourself, but for generations yet to come. This is your gift. This is your responsibility, to rise above the pain, to embrace your wholeness, and to build a future shaped by strength, compassion, and hope. Stand tall, walk forward, and know this truth deep within your soul. You are not a prisoner of your family's past. You are the architect of your healing and the creator of your future. Begin now, because your journey is the greatest legacy you will ever leave. And it starts with you.